This is the Manhattan hotel that's been dubbed a modern-day Ellis Island. It's a temporary shelter for many of the 200,000 migrants who've come to New York over the past 2 years, including Emily and her children.
It was really difficult, being alone here with my kids. I ended up in hospital many times, but now I have my papers.
Emily was a civil engineer in Venezuela, but violence and instability forced her to flee. Her husband has gone ahead to Ohio to look for work, in the hope that his family will soon join him. New York is a sanctuary city, which means it has a legal obligation to provide shelter to anyone who asks. Some 65,000 migrants remain in the New York City shelter system, according to data provided by the city. Most migrants face a wait of at least 6 months, if not more, before they have the legal right to employment. In the absence of a work permit, Francis sells empanadas on the street. An underground economy has sprung up. Migrants are not allowed to cook in their hotel rooms, so supplies get delivered by car. $5 an empanada. Francis gets 1, the supplier gets 4.
If they catch me, they throw out my stuff, or they can fine me $1,000.
Francis is also from Venezuela. She came here with her 4 children after her husband was murdered by kidnappers.
We walked through the forest, through Panama, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua. Then we made it here. I try to put on a brave face. I don't like to cry.
Polls show that immigration is the second biggest issue on voters' minds after the economy. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has predicted that the migrants will cost the city $10 billion over a 3-year period. This has stoked resentment from some.
They're giving them hotel rooms.
This postal office worker takes out his ire on an anti-Trump protester.
They took money from me. What am I getting from it? Tell me what I'm getting from it. They're going to take our jobs too, right? Thank you.
I feel badly for him, but he doesn't know who the enemy is.
At an event for homeless and migrant families in Brooklyn, a local Democrat speaks up for the new arrivals.
When you see the types of jobs that a lot of the migrants have to take, they're not the types of jobs that a lot of people would even want to take. And the economy is booming because these people are coming over here because they want to work. We're tired of the hate mongering and we're tired of the divisiveness.
The director of WIN, the charity hosting this event, has years of experience helping homeless families get back on their feet.
We in the city have a program where you can get a voucher and it will help pay your rent. Presently, to get one of those, you have to be documented. If we gave them to undocumented people, we would see the migrants leave shelter. Also, the city could save as much as $3 billion.
The Democrats hope that Trump's extreme rhetoric will push some voters away.
There's the issues of migrants and immigration, and then there's Donald Trump, who's just vicious and absurd. So I think things like saying migrants are eating cats and dogs sends voters away from him.
Trump has promised the mass deportation of migrants if he's re-elected.
We can't have Trump win, because if not, then there's no support for those families. And we saw it in his last presidency. And so we're praying that the right person wins.
The Democrats are banking in part on positive messaging on immigration to help them secure more votes. Whilst a tightening of border restrictions has slowed the influx of migrants more recently, the hotels housing them in New York are full. New shelters have opened, like this one on Randall's Island near East Harlem. A huge tent structure has been erected with dormitory-style beds inside. It houses 3,000 migrants. Only adults can stay here.
We're not family, but when you get here, you just make friends and you end up like a family. You try to help each other out.
These migrant women have had to leave their children behind. They hope to bring them to the US once they obtain legal status.
At first, it was hard. I cried a lot. I was lonely being so far from my daughter. But here in the shelter, they're helping us to get our papers. They give us 3 meals a day, a bed, a roof over our heads.
In March, New York City changed its right to shelter rule to temporarily limit the length of time some adult migrants can stay in accommodation provided by the city. Whilst families are not affected by the change, some migrants could find themselves evicted, forced to sleep on the streets.